Dad, what a wonderful day we celebrate today. You're 90 years young, and your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are filled with deep love and admiration as we reflect back over your amazing life and the man you are. Not only are you a compassionate father and husband, but you have always been a hardworking, humble, kind, sweet, and gentle man. For 61 years, you and Mom have had a perfect marriage. As one of your oldest friends once said, your marriage was made in heaven. Nothing is missing. Your own mother once told you, you can love too much. Without a doubt, your love and compassion toward Mom and hers toward you are incomparable. During the last few years, as Mom's health has declined, you have provided her with exquisite care and attention day in and day out. I just wish she could be with us to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Dad, you and Mom have shared some wonderful times. She was just as happy about your life together when United Business Company was a struggling venture as she was when H&R Bloch became a household word. In fact, having or making lots of money didn't mean a thing to her. But even in those early years of your marriage, when you were barely eking out a living, you still managed to provide a good life for your family. When you finally splurged on a second car, you bought Mom a used Studebaker for $50. And when Mom's brother Howard was married in Birmingham, you could barely afford one plane ticket. So you stayed home and worked while Mom attended the wedding.
I love the story about the time when you and Mom, with Bob and Tom, moved to Scarsdale in 1955 so you could open the very first tax offices outside of Kansas City. Mom went to Gristides and bought a rib roast for dinner. After she brought it home, you asked her how much it cost. You said, "Dear, we can't afford that." So Mom happily returned it. And do you remember when you and Mom got a letter from the mayor of Scarsdale? He said you needed to rake the leaves in the yard of the house that you rented there, but you couldn't afford to pay a lawn service, and you didn't have time to do it yourself. And I remember hearing about the night Tom was born, Dad. It was the evening before the tax deadline of that year. You converted a corner of the Menorah Hospital waiting room into a small office to finish up returns because there were taxpayers depending on you.
Mom always made sure the family was at the center of our lives. We had dinner at 6 o'clock sharp every night, even though you often went upstairs with your briefcase after dinner. As the company became more successful, you wondered how long it would last. But while the going was good, you and Mom planned the most incredible summer vacations for our family. When it came to everyday living, you were frugal, but when it came to those vacations, you and Mom splurged. As the years went by and the company's name spread, our pride in you also grew. You became the face of the company with your 17 reasons why people should go to H&R Bloch. I remember whenever we traveled on our wonderful summer vacations, it was common for someone to walk up to you and say, "Aren't you Henry Bloch?" How fun it was for all of us to go to New York when you appeared as a guest on The Tonight Show. That was way back when Johnny Carson was the host. You were like a rock star, Dad, but the truly amazing thing is that you never ever let success go to your head.
One of the best stories was when you and Mom decided to collect art because you wanted pretty pictures on the wall at home. During one of those awesome family summer vacations in Europe, you bought a beautiful old Dutch painting by an artist named Isaac van Ostade. You had it shipped to the Nelson Atkins Museum. When you went to the Nelson to pick it up, the curator told you that it might have been painted by van Ostade at one point, but it had been completely repainted and was basically worthless. Though it may not have seemed so at the time, it turned out that this was fortuitous. After that experience, you sought out expert advice and began collecting Impressionist art. And what a collection you and Mom assembled over the years.
Dad, remember when you wanted to have a portrait painted of Mom? You picked an artist unknown to you named Andy Warhol. You reserved a beautiful, large hotel suite in New York City with a grand fireplace to serve as a background for the portrait. Andy Warhol showed up, pulled out his Polaroid camera, took a shot of Mom's head, and proceeded to leave. So much for good planning. But in fairness, Warhol ended up doing 4 absolutely gorgeous portraits of Mom.
As the years rushed by and as our family grew and each of your 4 children started families of their own, it's impossible for us to tell you how much we admire you. Your leadership, not just in business, but also in the community, including your remarkable philanthropy, have helped transform Kansas City. We all marvel at the number of civic and philanthropic organizations that you have helped and that have honored you over the years.
As a businessman, as a civic leader, and as a philanthropist, you've been a wonderful role model for all who have worked with you, either at H&R Bloch or in making Kansas City a better place to live.
You have taught us so much, Dad, to have a dream, to find our passion, and follow our hearts.
To have a desire to achieve, to have a personal plan.
To never stop changing, learning, and improving.
To believe it's never too late for change. To not be afraid of hard work, and to understand that there is no shortcut to success.
But most of all, you have taught us how to live life by being an incredibly loving and good father and husband. We know that Mom and your children have always meant everything to you. We love you very, very much. Congratulations, dearest Dad, on 90 years of living, loving, and giving.